So, Paul, here we are now. You've been listed as a terrorist. Facebook's now in banking, so they're part of the banking cartel. And they've used the designation. You've been, for no reason, never convicted of a crime, a good guy, defamed. You're one step from the concentration camp now. You're in the ghetto. What do you think the listeners and the viewers should know? I mean, this fight is their fight. This is unprecedented. Trump's got to take action. It's just wild.
Well, I said in one of the videos I put out, it's biblical. You know, it's straight out of Revelations. He who causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save that he had the mark. What is the mark today? It's blind and total obedience to Mark Zuckerberg.
Come on, America. Come on, world. This is the most unbelievable tyranny never even heard of in a science fiction book. This is so over the top, it's insane. But they slowly censored us. We got so sick of hearing about bans and censoring and denials until when they say, we're going to have AI say what words you can use and track you in real time and take your phone service away and your credit card away and your life away if you don't submit to big tech and the Silicon Valley cult. Joining us for the rest of the hour is Paul Joseph Watson. He would have been on Thursday and Friday, but he had a very serious family illness that has turned out to be okay so far. We'll just leave it at that. And then, of course, the president on Friday and Saturday tweeted some support for Watson. And, of course, so did many others. Watson was the top trending thing on Twitter. And my point to Watson was, that's great. Millie Weaver got tweeted out, you name it, is that we need more than tweets, as we've always said. We're not mad at the president over that. We need the president to understand the enemy are experts at reframing the debate about how, oh, it's censorship. Well, they're a private company. No, they're cartels. They're working in unison. They've done false advertising. They're now telling 2.2 billion users what you can and can't do. They're working with so-called media watchdogs to interface with the data so they're in our accounts. This is a criminal enterprise that would make La Cosa Nostra blush. And they're doing it all out in the open. You've written a new article that's critical that everyone get. It's at newswars.com. It's at your site, summit.news. Forget Facebook. They want to revoke your access to banking. Social media deplatforming is only the beginning. The ultimate social credit score nightmare is coming. I agree with your article, Paul. I know you've already written 4 today, but it's not coming. It's here for us. And when they demonize us and lie about us, the precedent's then set, oh, when we're not defended for every domino to fall. So, Paul, this is your first live breakdown of what we're facing, what we're dealing with. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, it's a massive article, and it goes over the fact that, as happened to you and InfoWars when you were completely deplatformed last year, they basically put a terror designation against your accounts and against your credit rating, which is what happened to me under the terms of why Facebook banned me and others last week. And I've pointed this out many times. They banned us under the definition of dangerous individuals and organizations. So they put us on the same list as, or in the same category as terrorists, serial killers, human traffickers, and organized violence or criminal activity. So that's not just your Facebook account. That kind of designation, this is an extremist designation. And then Oliver Darcy and Brian Stelter got up on CNN and literally used the same word, extremist. That designation sticks for life. That's not just going to apply to your social media accounts. That's going to apply to your banking. We've already had several people deplatformed, not by Facebook or Twitter, by their own banks. You had Robert Spencer, you had Martina Marcotta, you had Enrico Tarrio, Chase Bank, deplatforming them over their political opinions. So this is how it ties into the social credit score. This is why it's so important to stop this here. They're now saying on Facebook, as you've said, Alex, even expressing any kind of sympathy or support for yourself or for Gavin McInnes or any other of these deplatformed extremists means that now you will be banned. That is the exact same system they've got, which has recently come into place in China, where if you associate with somebody who's already been designated an extremist or a dissident, then you get punished. This is an absolute nightmare beyond anything Orwell could even imagine.
And let's explain.
You've got
Everybody gets mad at the NSA for supposedly spying on people that trigger flags. It's still unconstitutional, and Trump just reversed that. This is big companies working together, illegally selling data, lying about their terms of service as Facebook's been caught, then indexing and in live time. When people try to say Alex Jones or Paul Watson or InfoWars now, instantly it gives them a message saying you can't post that. And it's got thousands of negative things you're allowed to say. Anything positive is pre-programmed. So they admit they've turned, quote, an algorithm, that means AI loose, where they're telling 2.2 billion people what they can and can't say. This is incredible. And now we've got the internal email they sent out to the media a day before the banning even happened, and then subsequent days after, we got another copy of it. Actually, so this is a new document you're going to be posting soon in another story. But this is just huge, Paul, because again, last year we had 6 bank accounts, 5 were taken. I had some of these bank accounts for 20 years, merchant accounts with the highest rating, because of the fact that we'd already had them try to shut us down different ways. So we had mitigated all that. We had the highest rating with banks of never forfeiting a credit card payment, never forfeiting any of our merchant accounts. And finally, a large bank told us, listen, you're listed in Interpol and in InfraGard, and we're not supposed to tell you this. We had to sign agreements as part of the Banking Act and the Telecommunications Act and the FinCEN Act that George Herbert Walker Bush put in, Paul. So when you say kind of like a terrorist, no. This is only reserved to MS-13, known La Cosa Nostra, known Asian gangs, known Russian gangs. We were put in an extrajudiciary system that says we're terrorist, and that's why I lost all those accounts. Now, I had to get involved basically with federal law enforcement and things just to stop it. I had to literally march in, get involved. I had to get involved with a chief executive, not of the nation, but I'll just leave it at that, and to have this stopped. And then I sent letters with lawyers to tell Interpol and G2 to stop it. They haven't, so we're having to gear up suits right now. So what I'm getting at here is this is literal CIA terrorist database we've been put in, and they're going into banking at Facebook, Paul, and they've said that's the plan. So I want folks to know this is the mark of the beast, where you've never committed a crime, you've got perfect credit, you suddenly can't live, can't get a job, and you don't even know why because you're in a database. This is defamatory. This is discriminatory. This is criminal. This is racketeering. And Congress has been so weak, Paul, Zuckerberg thinks he can get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine walking into a grocery store, scanning your credit card, which will be your only option pretty much soon. In London, there are entire shops, when you try to pay by cash, they're like, sorry, no cash, we've banned it. That's going to be the entire world, or the entire Western world.
Sweden's going cashless.
Yeah. PayPal buying up global credit card payment processors. The free market is not providing a solution to this. We need antitrust regulation. You mentioned Facebook, headline, Wired News. Facebook's cryptocurrency might work like loyalty points. So well, then what about when Facebook buys up the rest of the cryptocurrency market? Oh, you're banned by Facebook. Some websites require a Facebook account to even use them.
Oh, a lot of cryptocurrency places are banning patriots as soon as they sign up.
Exactly, yeah. And now even your images, photos of you are being blurred on Facebook. Your face cannot even be seen. This is worse than like at least during the 2 minutes of hate, they could actually see Goldstein's face, right? Not in your case, Alex.
Yeah, I forgot. That's all over Twitter. It's all over the news. We should do a story on it. Maybe one of the writers thinks that's important. But people have all these screenshots. But maybe you can pull some up, tell us where to go, Paul. I've seen it, but in 3 minutes won't be able to find it. Where families take pictures.
Robert Barnes who tweeted it.
Yeah, Robert Barnes tweeted it out, shots of it. Shots with families that I took when I was in D.C. last week. They're just banned. They're just gone. I saw it all over Twitter this weekend, and I'll find it myself while Paul's talking. It would show families with me, and they would just blur the whole picture out because they took photos with me in live time, not letting people upload photos. It was all over Paul's Twitter and in the comments. People were posting it. And I just think it's funny that we're so used to censorship that now Twitter blurring a person's face and not uploading it, not one story. People don't care. They've given in. They've submitted. They've given up. And now they're going to take your banking away. Now they're going to take your Social Security away. Now they've already taken all your privacy away. They've gotten away with everything. Now 4 states have passed laws to kill babies after they're born. They've opened the borders up and say a country existing is bad. So why not, Paul Watson? Why not erase people completely out of history like the old Soviet Union did?
Yeah, it's like them airbrushing you out of the historical photos, isn't it? Yeah, Robert Barnes tweeted about it. Then there's another tweet from somebody called Gabriella Handal on Twitter. She said, if you put up a pic of Alex Jones in IG, Instagram, it gets removed or blurred. So it's not just
listen, you don't understand. I just get frustrated by all this stuff because I saw the photos blurred myself. It doesn't matter. I'll get it myself. I'll do it myself. Everybody just stop looking. I'll do it myself right now. Anyways, Paul, please continue with the magnitude of what we're dealing with here and how huge this is. Not about you being banned or me being banned or us being listed as terrorists. It's about the fact that they're telling 2.2 billion users what they can do, the fact that big tech's moving to China, the fact that Trump's not doing anything about it.
Yeah, the problem is they've prescribed, as Tucker Carlson said, what political views their entire user base can have. And they are the new public square. The amount of traffic, social media traffic they control, it would be akin to your phone company cutting off your service and you not being able to have a phone because they don't like the text messages that you're sending. It would be akin to a water company, a public utility, cutting off your access to water because they don't like your political content and your political opinions. This is how much power these big tech corporations have got now. And there are a couple of bills talking about what could be done about it. Yeah, the tweets were nice, but we've seen the tweets after every other wave of banning and nothing happens. There's an article at Texas Tribune. Texas bill would allow state to sue social media companies like Facebook and Twitter over free speech. So again, that talks about this Senate Bill 2373 would hold social media platforms accountable for restricting user speech based on personal opinions. There's another one in California. I think the Texas one is being voted on today, actually. It went through committee and everything. It sailed through with everyone voting in favor of it. And that's due to be passed today, I think, or at least move on to the next stage today. So there are a couple of bills at the state level, which are a good template for it. There's another great template article, which the administration really needs to see because it lays everything out and why this needs to happen. Human Events by Will Chamberlain article at Human Events. Platform access is a civil right. He makes the case, obviously, you can't discriminate against black people in businesses because they're black. We had civil rights laws to change that. So why couldn't you discriminate against people based on their political opinions, which is clearly what Facebook is doing. That is another great template article that lays out what needs to happen next. And the idea that this wasn't a political purge, I mean, just go down the list. Every single person that was instrumental online and offline in many cases in getting Donald Trump elected in 2016 has been the victim of official oppression or has been completely wiped off the internet. You, Alex Jones, banned, sued. Julian Assange, arrested. Roger Stone, banned, arrested. Milo Yiannopoulos, smeared, defamed, banned. Gavin McInnes, smeared as a hate leader, banned. Robert Spencer, he had his credit card, MasterCard access revoked for his Patreon account. Tommy Robinson, arrested, banned. Many, many more. So to claim that this was, we're just enforcing our terms of service, complete and total BS. Majid Nawaz, who is a commentator and radio host in the United Kingdom, was smeared, libeled, defamed as a, quote, extremist by the Southern Poverty Law Center. He won the case. He won $3.3 million. The laws in the UK are very different and way more strict in terms of libel and defamation than those in the United States. So when people get up on mainstream news networks and CNN and literally call me an extremist, that's going to have some consequences because we have different laws.
Well, Paul, let's go further than that. They in the Washington Post and the New York Times, you name it, they'll say many white supremacists and extremists were banned today. So people think white supremacists, and they say your name, my name, all this. I mean, it's incredible defamation. But beyond that, it's the designation, Paul, of you as a hate leader, mixing you in with bank robbers and child molesters to do this. That's the real defamation and slander here, buddy.
Oh, completely. I mean, there's a group called Hope Not Hate in the UK, which puts out reports and works with the government. What they do, they're a bit more clever about it. They talk about National Action, which is a right-wing terrorist group, which is banned by the government. And then in the next paragraph, oh, and Paul Joseph Watson, YouTube commentator, he says this. So they just do it guilt by association, which they can get away with. But if you literally get up and call somebody an extremist with no proof whatsoever, bear in mind, I didn't get an email from Facebook. There were no posts that they identified that were extremists, that were hate. And the irony of it is, Alex, that they ban us for hate. The left's so concerned about hate and bullying and harassment. If, God forbid, somebody who is being deplatformed in the future commits suicide over this, because this ruins people's lives, right? We're talking about removing their access to buy and sell. That is the ultimate end game of this. That could leave somebody destitute and homeless. That could lead to them actually killing themselves. How are many people on the left who pushed for all this going to react when somebody commits suicide because of deplatforming? They will be popping champagne corks. They will be laughing it up. So this idea that they're interested in stopping bullying, harassment, and hate, when they're the most hateful people on the internet. I had to turn off DMs on Twitter, direct messages, when this all came out on Thursday, because it was just like death threat and vicious hate message after hate message. These people have no interest in stopping hate. They're the most hateful political force on in the West, basically, at this point.
Paul, you know, I've been ranting and raving here for the first hour and a half. I've settled down a little bit now, but it's just, you keep going back to, oh, look, they really are censoring conservatives ahead of the election. Look, everybody conservative is being banned. It's nationalists, it's patriots all over the world. We have all the internal documents, but that isn't how Trump even has to go after them. False advertising, illegally selling data, telling 2.2 billion users you can't use certain words. That's cult level. That's racketeering. That's a civil rights violation. You've got so many angles to this, and then just this Heritage Foundation BS, oh, it's a private company. That's all a fraud. They can't defame us and put us in a designation that's only meant when someone's been convicted of organized crime. That they're using racketeering, organized crime designations outside of law, out of G2 and out of Facebook now. It's going to expand to everything to do this to us. We have to move against it. It was in the news, mainstream news, just this weekend. They're creating human rights boards, they call them, at MasterCard, not to go after talk show hosts in the NRA. That's already happening. But to look at what conservatives are buying and doing, they're using that it's digital. The left has put all these weirdos, SJWs, they're the now controllers in all the digital stuff. They're in our phones, they're in our bank accounts, they're giving it to the news, they're sharing it. Oliver Darcy's on TV saying, we're going to see if Alex Jones has WhatsApp on iPhone, and we're in his iPhone. If he has it, we're going to take it away. That's criminal evil. If the NSA was on the news going, we're going to see if Alex Jones has something and take it away, that's a total abuse. That's criminal. That's the NSA. But private companies, if you don't think having your birthright stolen and a global cashless society that totally surveils you, that tells you what you can say in lifetime or you'll be punished, is dangerous, you're crazy. And then now I'm being used and Paul's being used as the test case for people not to stand up for us, and then it's everybody else. I really thought humanity was stronger than this. And the fact that Zuckerberg is so arrogant and so detached from reality is frightening. But he's just one of these people. And Matt Drudge came here over 3.5 years ago and was prescient about the internet ghettos and the total control and how they'd use us being on their platforms for control and how the evil was coming, because he knew it was going to happen. He knew it would happen to us first. So, Paul, here we are now. You've been listed as a terrorist. Facebook's now in banking, so they're part of the banking cartel. And they've used the designation. You've been, for no reason, never convicted of a crime, a good guy, defamed. You're one step from the concentration camp now. You're in the ghetto. What do you think the listeners and the viewers should know? I mean, this fight is their fight. This is unprecedented. Trump's got to take action. It's just wild.
Well, I said in one of the videos I put out, it's biblical. You know, it's straight out of Revelations. He who causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save that he had the mark. What is the mark today? It's blind and total obedience to Mark Zuckerberg. This is the stage that we're at, Alex. And then the nerve of people like Oliver Darcy to get up and see it on CNN and Twitter and say, oh, you need to apologize for this, you need to apologize for that. When is CNN going to apologize for advocating the invasion of Libya, which their chief national security correspondent did, which caused the migrant crisis and the rise of ISIS? You know, you want to talk about apologizing for weapons of mass destruction. You want to talk about apologizing for the Covington High School hoax, where children were defamed by relentless and insistent fake news about their behavior. You want to talk about the Russian collusion hoax, something that has ripped apart America for the past 2 years. Are they going to apologize for that? Are they going to apologize for the Brett Kavanaugh serial rapist hoax? If you want to make it a competition of who has to apologize for what, compared to, you know, reporting on an unsolved murder in the case of Seth Rich during the height of an election, compared to an invasion that literally led to hundreds of thousands of people dying and destabilized 2 continents, and they're going to lose that game. So it's this ridiculous moral high ground that they think they continually have, Alex, and they just don't have it. You can go down the line. They've been responsible for way more damaging lives than anyone who has been banned from these platforms has ever uttered.
And by the way, Paul, I'm not saying you're wrong in your tweets to say, hey, I'm not perfect, I made mistakes. But 3 years ago, CNN would say, hey, say you're sorry for questioning Sandy Hook. And I said, well, I didn't create questioning it, but there were some anomalies, but I think it happened. So, you know, questioning something you got to do, but I'm sorry if it hurt feelings. They went, oh, he admits he's a liar. They never admit they're wrong because they lie on purpose. So they're trying to trick you to say that. Then they're going to say, Paul Watson admits he's a liar. They won't show the clip. These are deceivers. They're following a playbook. They are the scum of the earth. And everyone has to remember that, Paul.
Well, exactly. And people can support us. Obviously, people need to get the products. That's more vital than ever before that they get the products. Infowarsstore.com. I've also set up a subscribe store, which is where people can donate to me personally, because of all this that's happened, because we need these resources to fight back against this censorship.
Yeah, let's be specific, because the trolls flooded in on InfoWars today when how dare you, this guy being listed as a terrorist, that the president's tweeting, that they're trying to shut you down. How dare you engage in free association, because I've had to cut the amount you and your brother are paid. How dare you say, hey, I'd like to run Summit.news that you're running. You've got expenses, you've got bandwidth, you had like 4 million visitors last month. How dare you operate and ask people to go there or sign up for the newsletter you're running? So tell folks how they do that.
Yeah, signing up for the free newsletter is absolutely vital, because that's how I stay in touch with people if everything else disappears.
That's at Summit.news. Remember, Brian Stelter says don't do it.
Yeah, Brian Stelter says don't do it. That's the best reason to do it. Summit.news/newsletter. Summit.news/newsletter. Sign up for free. Also, if you go on the article, it's on Infowars.com right now, and Summit.news, support PJW in the fight back against censorship. That links to Subscribe Store. You can donate once, or you can donate once a month. That's not going to get deplatformed, because the people who run it actually support free speech, God forbid. Because
they're trying to take our bank accounts. They're trying to bankrupt us, and then I tell you, hey, you better go do your own thing, because, yeah, it'll make the enemy happy. Yeah, they've crippled us. I mean, we're not just up here telling the viewers that, and it's kind of a catch-22. If I sit there and say, hey, you better support us or we'll be shut down, then if I go, hey, they're actually starting to really do it, that'll make the enemy even happier. But listeners need to go to Infowarsstore.com. Coffee, films, books, water filtration, air filtration. We've had third-party labs test the filters we sell. Of course, they're the best. Our enemies have tested them and found they're the best. Our friends have tested them. And then that special's about to end. They sold them to us at cost, their cost. We tagged $50 on them. Leading competitors are like $400 for their biggest stainless steel gravity-fed filter. This group's normally $300. We're selling them for $199. Alexa Pure Pro, their biggest, best system. Now, twice as much, highest quality, most expensive vitamin B12, methylcobalamin. Ultra 12 is twice as strong as Secret 12, and it's the same methylcobalamin, but when you reformulate, you've got to change the name. But I did this as, something fun. You peel off the Ultra 12 label, you'll see the Secret 12 label, because first they already labeled it, and our crew said, listen, Alex, the marketing guys, I mainly do the marketing, but they're like, people don't understand when you say plus, it means better and stronger. You should just do whole new names. And I said, okay. And they went, well, we already labeled those, the original name, Secret 12 Plus. And I said, okay, well, they're like, we want to put Ultra 12 on it. Well, I don't like the Ultra 12 label. It doesn't look bad, but here, let me show somebody. on TV or show TV viewers on television. Here's an Ultra 12 bottle, twice as strong, methylcobalamin, the highest quality, most expensive type at a very low price. And it says Ultra 12. And this is only for the first run of these. It'll be like this. And then you peel it off. This is all the kind of stuff goes on around here, arguing about names of things, because those are important. Boom. Secret 12 right there. I like that label better. Secret 12 Plus. But you can see, this isn't just bright red. It's like purple. This is so strong, under the tongue. Again, most people, especially Europeans, don't absorb B12 like they're supposed to from mushrooms and the few foods you find it in. But if under the tongue, it'll go into your blood vessels and you get it. The best way to take it, obviously, is prescription, injecting methylcobalamin from a doctor into your fat. It's amazing. I've got a prescription before for it, but this is the second best thing to that. It's twice as strong. It's amazing. Put it under the tongue, hold it for a minute. Tastes great. There's no additives. Just B12 tastes like sugar. It's its own building block of the body, just as important as iodine. So we now have Ultra 12, Secret 12 Plus is what it really is. 50% off out of the gates, because I want you to try it. InfoWarsStore.com. Okay, Paul. The truth is, we have much bigger audiences still than even places like CNN. They're plunging. They're going bankrupt. They're propped up. They're pissed. A lot of this is jealousy of dying newspapers, dying corporate media. There's a perfect storm with them and big tech. And big tech's using them to be the policeman of censorship for now, while they collapse. And in the end, big tech knows there'll be no alternative media, no independent websites, and no corporate press anymore, only the AI gods.
Well, you'd have to remember that it was Oliver Darcy, who was a failed conservative commentator. He got very bitter at the success that everyone else in the movement was having back, 4 or 5 years ago. Then he joined CNN and devoted his entire career to deplatforming those people who he was bitter about. So this is the situation. If you look at the graph for CNN, for example, on YouTube, let's bear in mind that Google has come out and said, quote, Google has never manipulated or modified the search results or content of any of its products to promote a particular political ideology. It does it all the time. It puts, quote, authoritative news sources above everything else on its search results. What's authoritative? Oh, look, it's CNN, it's ABC, it's Huffington Post. They lied in there, and they confound their own statement. You have Robert Epstein. I mentioned this a bunch of times. Oh, and by the way, if you look at the graph for CNN's subscriptions on YouTube, suddenly when they change that algorithm, they go way up. Suddenly their views go way up. They're immune from the policies that everyone else is subject to. They can put ads on videos which depict violence and war. Every single one of my videos is demonetized immediately upon upload. So Robert Epstein has come out and said that this algorithm shift can affect millions of votes. It affected at least 2 to 3 million votes during the 2016 presidential election in favor of Hillary. It's going to do that times 10 with all this new censorship for 2020. So Trump needs to act now. The tweets are nice. We need executive action.
You're right.
We need laws.
You're right. This isn't about us bitching about being censored. That's bad enough. This is 2020 being stolen. A world cashless society. Chinese social credit score, it's here. Listing people as terrorists that are patriots. We have the attempt to absolutely have big tech go beyond anything ever imagined in 1984 and not allow people to even talk about people that have been banned names unless it's negative. Obviously, the president tweeted about you, retweeted your support, all that. Millie Weaver, great. But as you said in videos, he used to do more than tweet. But it does show, because he knows how they demonize CNN, the Trump knows how CNN demonizes InfoWars, that Trump is basically aligning himself and saying, I believe in First Amendment. So that's a good thing. But it's just not a free speech issue. It's a cartel issue. It's an election meddling issue. What is your message to President Trump, Paul?
Well, it's best laid out in that article I spoke about before. Platform access is a civil right. We need some kind of digital bill of rights. We need people to look at all angles. We need to have, if Facebook wants to be a publisher and not a platform, which is how they're behaving, then remove their immunity from lawsuits under Section 230 of the Communications Act. Make them legally liable for everything that's posted on their website if they want to act as a publisher. If somebody gets up on InfoWars and writes an article, and we post an article full of death threats and vile defamatory statements, we're going to get sued for that. Facebook is immune from that because it's a platform, but it no longer acts as a platform. So there are things you can do there. And then we whine about the double standard because it's just so brazen. You know, we got hundreds of rockets raining down on Israel over the past few days, killing and injuring civilians. Hamas is listed as a terrorist group by the United States, by the European Union. All over Facebook, there are pro-Hamas pages. And in fact, the New York Times reported on that last month. They said, quote, Hamas enjoys a similar widespread presence on Facebook. So nobody's doing anything about an actual terrorist group listed as a terrorist group that is currently raining down missiles on civilians in Israel. Oh, but PJW needs to be banned for his edgy opinions. So it's that double standard again, Alex. Instagram. Raheem Kassam just reported a video which shows somebody jokingly punching a pregnant woman in the chest to try and get a baby aborted as a joke. He reported the video for, you know, violence or threat of violence. Thank you for reporting. This does not violate our terms. So you can literally post something punching a pregnant woman in the belly on Instagram. That's completely fine. Alex Jones, though, he has to get his face blurred because during the 2 minutes of hate, you're not even allowed to see the face of Goldstein. That's the level we're at.
And I saw the photos this weekend. I'm going to dig them out. It's like families. I remember taking the photos in D.C. and stuff with families and their kids, and they just blur it and say, oh, you're not allowed to do this because they've scanned my face. The AI recognizes it and treats it like child porn.
Precisely. We had another article on InfoWars. Facebook defends call for Trump assassination. This woman reported a bunch of assassination threats against President Trump. And how did they respond? They suspended her for reporting the assassination threats. So
you know, I should have led the show with that Jamie White article from last night. Please tweet that out, Paul. I still have Twitter and still have
I did.
Your YouTube. And again, people have to remember, you started summit.news. We have newswars.com, infowars.com with our own audio, our own video. I know you're working on getting your own stuff set up. We're trying to help you. We have to do what Drudge came here and warned us. He said, you got to set your own stuff up now. You got to get off because when Hillary was going to win, she was going to do it right away. Well, instead, we got like a 2.5-year reprieve. But now ahead of the next election, they're doing it regardless, thinking Trump's dumb.
Oh, yeah. I mean, imagine if Hillary would have won. It would have happened even sooner, right? Also, as I said before, you know, get the products from InfoWars. That is absolutely key. There's a subscribe store. It's linked in the article. Support PJW in the fight back against censorship. That is my personal page, so go and donate there at subscribe store.
And again, that's because you're moving out doing your own thing because, I mean, we're getting to the point where we cannot finance you and your brother and the work you're doing. That, yeah, the enemy, as I told folks, is slowly but surely shutting us down. That's why we need your financial support, folks. This is serious. All right, sign up for the free email as well at summit.news.
InfoWars, the most banned network in the world.
There is a mission. I'm asking you to accept it and take action. We've had such a huge effect over the years with our T-shirts, but we haven't had a hit T-shirt in over a year. Yeah, we sell a few hundred here, a few thousand there, but when we had 50,000 Hillary for President shirts on the street or Obama Joker 100,000 on the street, it changed the world and it funded the info war. All of our apparel is 50% off. That's all the T-shirts, all the ball caps, all everything. So again, I would encourage listeners to understand, if you're in a right-wing or nationalist area, you'll get pats on the back, a cup of coffee probably bought for you wearing an InfoWars shirt, meet a lot of like-minded people. It's a real adventure. But if you're in a leftist area, they don't speak Latin. They don't know what Molon Labe means. They don't know what attorney response team is. They don't know what a Don't California, My USA is. That's some of our new shirts. So that's a fun thing, is just meet like-minded people and spread the word. But if you wear an Infowars.com shirt in some leftist areas around universities or whatever, you might get stabbed or hit over the head with a baseball bat or whatever. So caution when wearing these. But you know, our audience really doesn't run. So I made all these T-shirts that don't have InfoWars on them, and people like them, but nothing like they do the ones that are loud and proud. Infowars.com, or that Trump Medusa T-shirt's my favorite. But the best selling is the in-your-face, big, bright red Infowars.com shirt. That's the one everybody wants right there. We have the Don't Tread on Me. We have Mean Like a Wolverine. We have a bunch of great ball caps, 1776, 50% off all apparel. And they point out it's annual. We've not done this, I looked it up, in over a year. Because listen, the dollar isn't what it used to be, but everything is 50% off. We go and look at what the purchase order is, what it was, and give you literally 50% off. This is the best time, and these shirts freak the leftist out, the globalist out, and it helps fund this great operation. All apparel, 50% off at InfoWarsStore.com. Haven't done this in over a year. InfoWarsStore.com takes you right there, or 888-253-3139. Wear your colors loud and proud at InfoWarsStore.com.